Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Now, before we get into it, I just want to say that I know it's been a while since I posted. It's been roughly about 2 weeks or so. But let's not focus on my absence too long, and let's get to the actual topic of this video. And that is Steve Lacy, and why I believe that he is timeless. But first, we have to ask ourselves the question of who is Steve Lacy?
Y'all ain't never been to a party before?
Steve Lacy is a 25-year-old musician and producer who was born in May of 1998 in Compton, California. As a producer, Steve has worked with many famous artists such as Tyler, the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, and even J. Cole, just to name a few. As a musician, though, Steve mainly started off as a member of The Internet as their lead guitarist, and was even a part of their Grammy-nominated album titled Ego Death. But since then, Steve has practically gone solo, now making his own albums such as Apollo 21 and Gemini Rights. But with that now out of the way, let's get back to our essential question of why I believe that Steve is timeless. Now, the reason I make this statement is because I personally believe that if you take a deep look at really any of Steve's music, whether it be from when he was first coming out of The Internet or his more recent stuff, you'll quickly find out that he has amazing genre range. Now, I think the title of genre range doesn't really need to be explained, but I do want to say that Steve has not made a song for every genre under the sun. But what I am trying to say is that every one that he's taken a shot at, he's definitely succeeded every step of the way. Songs like Give You the World and Amber give a perfect wedding slow dance type jazz feel, so much so that they could fit in different eras as they don't really feel at home with modern music, but at the same time, they do. His song titled Buttons is that perfect love song for when you're alone with that special someone, and Bad Habit is that one modern song that you can't hate even if you tried and will definitely be seen as nostalgic in a few years, hopefully along with the entire album. And yes, if you haven't noticed, all of those songs I just mentioned are purely taken from the Gemini Rights album that Steve released last year, which I believe to be an extremely replayable album. And as someone who owns it physically on vinyl, I can say that the second the album ends, I wish I could run back in time to hear it for the first time all over again. Now, with that being said, the second reason why I believe that Steve is timeless is because of his character. In modern music, many artists, including Steve himself, have expressed that you can't really just sell music these days. There has to be more attached to it, one of those things being a character. And I feel like what makes Steve's character so real and authentic feeling is that most of, if not all of his songs are based off of his true experiences. And because he makes songs based on his true experiences in almost a rant sort of way with some songs like Dark Red, where he basically begs his ex not to move on from him, it gives the sense of feeling that he makes this music for himself. And so when you make music basically for yourself, all of your fans are going to feel like they're basically being invited to something. They feel like they're a part of something. And by no means am I saying that Steve Lacy is the first person to use his personal experiences to craft his music, as that's been done by many artists basically since the dawn of time, it seems. But what I am saying is that Steve has gone through a lot of personal experiences, and to have those all be different songs can make people be able to pick and choose what Steve songs they relate to and which ones not so much. But even if you don't relate to those songs, it's okay because they're still good songs. Now, another thing I want to add in here that isn't its own reason, but more so of its add-on, is that Steve's song placement is immaculate. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into song placement, as I'm sure many other people could describe it a lot better than me, but if you listen to that Gemini Rights album one by one in the order of the album, you'll find that a story is genuinely being told throughout the album. And plus, the album is only 45 minutes, so it doesn't really take up your time too much. It takes you on a small, but also very much entertaining and enjoyable journey of a man, going through heartbreak. And I don't feel like every album these days really tells a story. Some of them can just kind of be new songs collected together, placed on an album, and then released out into the public. Heck, some albums can just be, unreleased songs pushed into one. I mean, Steve even did that himself. But I feel like the songs can be enjoyed a lot better if you listen to them in the order that they're meant to be listened to, because then it's not just an enjoyable song, it's a story that's being told through the album. But for the third and final reason why I believe Steve is timeless is his vibe. One of the things Steve is known for is the fact that he typically doesn't really opt to use more expensive and bigger equipment for his music, as he instead decides to make it on things like an iPhone. And even though that may seem stupid or a lot more challenging compared to just using the big time equipment, it actually helps Steve's music capture a certain kind of vibe that I haven't really seen with any other artist. Even though with the Gemini Rights album, Steve has basically gone, completely popular, and most people probably know his name or at least know the song of Bad Habit, but regardless of his popularity or not, his music still has that same underground lo-fi vibe to it. And in modern music, that sort of vibe is very popular. And I feel like that vibe can keep fans feeling like they're a part of something underground, even though in reality it's something a lot bigger than even they might think. And sometimes in the entertainment industry, including the music industry, it's not really about the truth. Sometimes it's about the illusion. And the illusion and truth of Steve Lacy is very entertaining to his fans, myself included. But with that, I'm going to bring this video to an end. If you agree with any of the points I made in this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I'm going to see myself out. So, peace.